Welcome to Capital Catch-Up. I'm Victor.
And I'm Lenny. Today we are unpacking a significant slate of legislation from the 119th Congress, ranging from a massive overhaul of agricultural policy to specific tax credits for the artificial intelligence workforce.
We have a lot of ground to cover, Lenny, so let's jump straight into the legislation. By far the largest item on the docket is House Resolution 7567, the Farm, Food, and National Security Act of 2026.
Right. For our listeners, this is essentially the Farm Bill. These come up every 5 years, and they are enormous omnibus packages. While the title says farm, this legislation dictates everything from crop insurance subsidies for rural America to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, for low-income families.
And speaking of SNAP, that brings us to House Resolution 7580. This bill proposes amending the Food and Nutrition Act of 2008 to prohibit the purchase of nutritionally deficient foods with SNAP benefits.
That is going to be a controversial debate. Historically, defining nutritionally deficient is a bureaucratic minefield. It builds on previous efforts we've seen over the last 2 decades, where conservatives have tried to restrict purchases of soda or candy, while hunger advocates argue that restricting choice increases stigma and administrative costs.
The House is also looking at how Americans live, literally. House Resolution 7584 amends the IRS code to allow a tax credit for qualified multigenerational housing expenses.
This is a direct response to the sandwich generation phenomenon, Victor. More Americans are caring for aging parents while raising children. This bill would provide financial relief for families retrofitting homes to accommodate grandparents or adult children. It's paired with House Resolution 7586, which sets restrictions on the sale of single-family homes financed by the federal government. This seems aimed at preventing large institutional investors from snapping up starter homes, a major issue in the 2020s housing market.
Moving to the labor and tech sectors, we have House Resolution 7576. This establishes a tax credit for workforce artificial intelligence training. As automation accelerates, this is Congress attempting to incentivize companies to retrain rather than replace workers.
On the other side of the labor coin, House Resolution 7577 amends the Fair Labor Standards Act regarding tipped workers. It looks to adjust the minimum wage for tipped employees and make the qualified tip deduction permanent. This is a crucial conversation for the hospitality industry, which has faced volatility since the pandemic years.
There is also a distinct focus on government efficiency and structure. House Resolution 1295, the Reorganizing Government Act of 2025, is on the table. While the text is dense, this usually signals a push to consolidate agencies. This dovetails with a House oversight hearing held on February 11th, titled Doing More with Less, Deleting Duplicative Programs.
Efficiency is the key word there, but we also see bills addressing civil rights and safety. House Resolution 7572 is titled To Protect the Civil Rights of Individuals Against Unlawful Vigilante Checkpoints.
That is a specific and rather intense piece of legislation. It implies a rise in non-law enforcement actors attempting to restrict movement, likely in border or protest contexts. It criminalizes identity demands by these groups.
We also have energy and environment bills. House Resolution 7568 focuses on geothermal energy production, continuing the push for renewables. Meanwhile, House Resolution 7578 gives the Secretaries of Agriculture and Interior more power regarding forest management to prevent catastrophic wildfires, a perennial issue for the American West.
Let's shift gears to committee activity. The Veterans Affairs Committees in both the House and Senate have been conducting their annual joint legislative presentations. We saw testimony from the VFW, the American Legion, Disabled American Veterans, and others between late February and early March.
These hearings are ceremonial but vital. It's where veteran service organizations, or VSOs, lay out their legislative priorities for the year. It's not just speeches, it directly informs bills like the ones marked up on February 12th, such as House Resolution 6047, the Veterans Benefits Expansion Act of 2026.
We also saw a specific hearing on the V-22 Osprey program. Given the history of mechanical issues with that tilt-rotor aircraft, Congress is keeping a very close watch on safety updates.
On the foreign policy front, the House Foreign Affairs Committee held a hearing titled Lies, Lawfare, and Leverage, focusing on the Chinese Communist Party's manipulation regarding Taiwan. That's happening alongside House Resolution 7574, the LO Realignment and Strategic Engagement Reform Act, which appears to restructure how we handle certain diplomatic engagements.
Which brings us to the people who will execute these policies. The Senate has received a wave of nominations.
Yes, notably, Scott Socha has been nominated to be the director of the National Park Service. We also have significant State Department nods, Jeremy Carl for International Organizations and Wesley Brooks for Oceans and International Environmental and Scientific Affairs.
And for those following the money, Ashley Stowe has been nominated to the Federal Election Commission. These nominations now go to the Senate for advice and consent. For listeners unfamiliar with the term, this means the Senate committees will vet these candidates, hold confirmation hearings, and eventually vote on whether they can take office.
Finally, looking at the Congressional Daily Records from February 9th through the 13th, volumes 172, numbers 27 through 31.
The record is the official transcript of floor proceedings. A close reading of these volumes shows a lot of procedural motion on the bills we just discussed, specifically the markup sessions mentioned in the committee reports. A markup is where a committee goes through a bill line by line to amend it before sending it to the floor. The records show extensive markup on the Local Water Protection Act and the Made in America Jobs of 2026.
So, what should listeners watch for in the coming days?
Keep an eye on House Resolution 7567, the Farm Bill. The debate over SNAP restrictions in House Resolution 7580 could stall the wider agriculture package.
And watch the Vigilante Checkpoint Bill, House Resolution 7572. That has the potential to become a flashpoint for intense partisan debate regarding civil liberties and public safety.
We will be tracking the progress of these bills as they move from committee markup to floor votes. Thanks for listening to Capitol Catch-Up.
Stay informed, and we'll see you next time.